Good afternoon, everybody. This is Earl White with House Heroes LLC, South Florida Super Home Buyers. If you got a house to sell in the area, hit us up on househeroes.com or call us at 954-676-1846. We are here today to talk about the number one reason that people want to sell their home online, and that is to avoid the 6% realtor commission. Now, why don't people want to pay a 6% realtor commission? 6% adds up to a lot of money, and that's something people can't stomach in many cases. When we're talking about selling a house that's worth $300,000 plus, it's nearly $20,000, and a lot of people are not willing to pay for that. So people don't think they need a realtor, particularly not for 6%, because they just don't need a realtor because they can sell online. They don't need the MLS. At this point, they can simply Google a fast cash home buyer, Google sell my house, and you'll find a fast cash home buyer just like House Heroes. And we also have for sale by owner websites, none of which charge you any commission or fees. Now, you can also get data online. Nowadays, 20 years ago, you were at the mercy of the realtor to figure out how much your house was worth. Nowadays, you do not necessarily need a realtor for that. You can go on Zillow.com, Redfin.com, find local comps, local sales. Now, that's not to say that you can just look at those sales and apply them to your property. I think that's where a lot of people get in trouble, but the data is there, so everyone can take a look at that for free. There's also a negative perception that people have of realtors. I'm not saying it's correct, but we do see a negative perception when talking to a lot of people about what they think a realtor can do for them. A lot of people find that they just think a realtor, all they're going to do is put the house up on the MLS. And if that's all they're going to do, that's not a lot of work. 6% just for that, not worth it. A lot of people feel that they don't need a realtor to manage the sale. They can manage it on their own. Because what goes into the sale? They can do showings, they can look at the contract, they can assess the offers. They don't need any help doing that. They also feel 6% is simply too much money to pay a realtor. And, they would admit that a realtor could be helpful, but 6% certainly not worth it. Some people have also have concerns about unethical realtor practices, and I also do share these concerns when they do come up. One of them is long exclusivity periods. A lot of realtors will send you a listing agreement, and they'll be looking to lock it up for 12 months. And essentially what the agreement will frequently say was that if you're going to sell it, if there's any sale of this property within 12 months, you are going to have to pay that realtor commission, even if the realtor does nothing. So I think that that's a concern and an unethical practice. We also have realtors that may not choose the highest paying buyer. They may secretly take a buyer paying less that does not have representation, so they don't have to share the 6% commission. Now, this is not me disparaging realtors. In fact, I think realtors bring a lot of benefits to the table, particularly the good ones. In fact, when House Heroes does our fix and flips, we do use real estate representation. We do pay the 6% realtor fee. So this is certainly not me saying that having a realtor is not helpful or is not even beneficial. Now, the first benefit that a realtor is going to bring to the table is to get your house on the MLS. The MLS is going to maximize exposure for your property. Everyone in the country and even out of the country are going to be aware of your sale when it goes up on the MLS. Now there is an alternative that you don't need to pay 6% realtor commission for, which is flat fee listing, but I'm not going to go into that for purposes of this video. Now the other thing a realtor is certainly going to give you is aggressive negotiation to increase your profit. Now I think that when you're thinking about negotiation, we all like to think of ourselves as hard-nosed negotiators and we're tough and we're going to get the best price. And that sounds really good until, an 18-year-old that's down on his luck comes in your front door and you feel a lot of sympathy for him. Maybe you were late to him, or another buyer comes in and a woman is pregnant and you feel sympathy for her, and perhaps her financing isn't in line, but you enter the contract to give her a chance and you end up wasting a lot of your time if her financing doesn't line up. So it's not always about going in and being hard-nosed. It's about having someone that's objective about the process, making your best economic decision for you. Also, you have to consider that one of the main reasons that we use a realtor is because we just don't want to be involved in this process. if you're listing a house on the MLS that's been fixed up, that's in good condition, and that type of thing, it's going to get a lot of showings, a lot of bidders. You're going to get a lot of bidders on that kind of property. If you regular homeowners, other investors looking to buy property, there's going to be, depending on where the price point is, if you price it right, you could have 50, 60, 70 showings of this property. I don't know how much time you have, but that's not something I would want to do if we're selling a property. You also can get hundreds of offers coming in. Again, no, I don't want to sit there, going through offers to figure out which ones are legit and which ones are not legit. I'd rather have someone managing that for me, essentially on a full-time basis. You're also going to get a lot of inquiries you're going to get a lot of inquiries about your sale. People are going to call, other realtors are going to call, they're going to have questions. If no one is there to answer those calls, that's going to be an issue in terms of getting the most amount of eyes, the most amount of interest, and the most amount of offers possible so you sell for max value. Also, the realtor can review the documents, review the contracts, review the proof of funds, review all these things so you don't have to do it. Now, the other thing the realtor does is they function as the quarterback. There's a lot of moving pieces for a home sale. Uh, there's at the beginning, you have the listing, the photography, getting everything ready for the listing, getting it up on all the websites, setting up the marketing plan. Then you have communications between buyer and seller, review of the contracts, review of the offers. Then you have to keep connecting. Like the process keeps going. You have appraiser, you have an inspector, you have attorneys, you have lien and title agents. There's a lot of moving pieces to get to the closing table, and the realtor can manage that for you. Now, I think another purpose, and this is particularly for non-investors, people who maybe you're selling the house that you've lived in growing up, or a house that you bought 20 years ago and your family grew up in. You want someone to be able to give you objective advice and an objective assessment, and a person not just to do that to give you advice, a person that's looking out for your best interest. Now, the realtor can help you take the emotion out of the property. Like I said, maybe you got married in the backyard, you've had a lot of family events there. It's difficult to want to sell that property, and the realtor can help give you a check to make sure that you're not being blinded by your emotions and either trying to sell too quickly because you've had a bad experience with the house at this point, or not selling fast enough because you're waiting for this right situation. Um, Now, the other thing that a realtor can do is help you set a pricing strategy. I can tell you that, yeah, it's easy to look at Zillow, it's easy to look at Redfin and see what another property priced for. But again, every house is unique, every situation is unique. And just because a house down the block sold for $100,000 doesn't mean your house is worth $100,000. Your house could be worth $50,000 or it could be worth $200,000. And you need someone that has a good sense to take an objective look at the property. And I say objective because you often see that people, in our business, we buy houses from people. So obviously we come across a lot of people that want to sell their house. But I would say a lot of people often believe their house is worth a lot more than it is based on going to Zillow or Redfin, seeing a number. But if your house is not in the condition of those houses, obviously it's worth less. And I think a realtor, giving you an honest evaluation can help you see that. Also, the realtor can help recommend, what is the best offer for you. Um, there's a lot that goes into an offer. It's not simply a price and you sign a contract. You have, is there an appraisal contingency? How long is the inspection period? Is there proof of funds? Is there pre-approval? Is it a cash offer? If you don't know what I'm talking about or how it implicates, your sale and your time frame and the amount you might get, then maybe you should actually be thinking about connecting with a realtor to talk about these things. Now, before deciding if 6% commission is worth it, there's several questions, that I put together that I think really can get at whether you should or should not use a realtor. What is the condition of the property? If the property needs complete renovation, in that situation, I personally would. I mean, you may want a realtor for different purposes, but I can tell you with our properties, if the property needs substantial renovation, and it's going to have to sell as is, probably for cash, I don't know that a realtor is necessary, and I could tell you we don't use a realtor. We have tried using a realtor on as-is properties, and I can tell you that we've made more money in some cases selling it when we've put it on the MLS, we've then found the buyer off market that sold, and it sold for even more to that buyer. So when it's an as-is offer, you're just going to get an investor cash offer. I don't know that you need a realtor. Well, I shouldn't say you don't need a realtor, but 6% commission may not work out as well as it might in other situations. How fast do you need to sell? If you need to sell fast, 14 days or less, you're going to sign a listing agreement. You're going to take time to market it. It's not going to be as fast as an off-market online sale where you're going to get a cash offer in 24 hours and closing in 14 days or less. And I think another important concept is how much time and effort can you devote to the sale. If you're busy, if you can't show the property yourself, if you're going to be at work, if you live out of state, any of these situations, then you probably should have a realtor to help show this property, particularly if you're going to be for sale by owner. Then you're going to have to show it to a lot of a lot of people are going to try to see this property, and if you're not around, you're kind of just wasting your time, and you're not going to get the top price due to your unavailability. Do you have any familiarity with real estate contracts, rules, procedures? There's a lot more that goes into a real estate contract. If you look at the standard one that's produced by the state bar, it's 10 pages long, single space. There's a lot that goes into it. So if you look that over and you're not really understanding what's going on, you're kind of setting yourself up for failure. So that might be a reason that you should connect with a realtor or at least a real estate professional to explain to you what these contracts are. Are you comfortable with the hard-nosed negotiations with regular people? I touched on it before, but really the point is that if you can't be objective about your sale, then you probably should find someone who can be objective about it. Are you comfortable showing the property to strangers? If you're doing it for sale by owner, and you don't feel comfortable around people you don't know, or something that's about your house you don't feel comfortable bringing a person into your home. Maybe you have young children there and you don't want a stranger in there. You don't want to expose your children to that. Maybe you do need someone to help with showing as like a realtor that can make that process easier for you. Lastly, are you comfortable with the internet sufficient to properly use, for sale by owner or even cash on buyer websites? If if you have trouble logging into websites, if you're on the older side, not that everyone that's old can't use a computer, but if you a little bit technologically challenged, if you don't respond to emails on a regular basis, you're probably not going to have a very effective for sale by owner website sale. So in that case, connecting with a realtor may be very helpful for you. Now, say you decide you want to sell online for sale by owner, save yourself the 6% commission. First thing you can do, Google sell my house. If you're in South Florida, whatever city is, sell my house in Miami, Broward, Palm Beach. Same thing goes for if you live in a different area. If you're in South Florida, you can connect with us, househeroes.com, 954-676-1846, and we'll get a cash offer out to you in under 24 hours. In terms of the FSBOs, forsalebyowner.com, Craigslist.com, Trulia.com, Zillow.com. Thank you for watching our video. Again, I'm with House Heroes LLC, and I hope I kind of talked you through some of the benefits and costs of selling your house with a realtor. Thank you.